The courtroom sat in complete silence, except for the soft, steady ticking of an old clock on the wall. It echoed through the air like a countdown, each tick heavy with tension. The atmosphere felt almost suffocating, thick with the weight of what was unfolding right there, a case that could change a little girl's life forever. At the very heart of this storm sat Lily, just 6 years old, her big brown eyes wide with fear, holding tightly onto the leash of her golden retriever, Max. Her small fingers gripped that leash like it was the only thing holding her together. They shook slightly, almost as if her whole world depended on the warmth of that dog beside her. She hadn't wanted to be here, but here she was, called to testify in a battle she never asked for. A custody case. One that would decide if she could stay with the only family that ever made her feel safe, her gentle and loving foster parents, or if she'd be forced back into the hands of the man sitting across the room. Her biological father. The one she was terrified of. And there he sat, cold, stiff, eyes sharp like daggers, staring at her like he already owned the outcome. His stare never left her. It pinned her in place. She shrank further into her chair, her little body folding inward, her voice trapped somewhere deep inside her, frozen by fear. From the front row, her foster mother, Sarah, leaned forward, her eyes soft but strong. She gave Lily the smallest nod, a whisper of reassurance across the distance. "It's okay, sweetie," she breathed, her voice barely audible but filled with hope. Then the judge, a serious-looking man probably in his 60s, leaned toward Lily. His eyes kind but professional, his voice steady. "Lily, can you tell us, do you feel safe with your father?" That question, it felt like a wall crashing down on her chest. Her throat closed up instantly. She couldn't speak. Not with him sitting right there, watching her every move like a shadow she couldn't escape. Max, sitting loyally by her side, sensed it, her panic, her fear. His nose brushed gently against her arm, reminding her she wasn't alone. And, in that moment, something clicked. Lily remembered something. A secret. Something Sarah had taught her, something special between her and Max. With a deep, shaky breath, almost like she was gathering every ounce of courage left in her tiny body, Lily reached down and quietly pressed 2 fingers against Max's paw. It was so subtle, no one in the courtroom noticed, except Max. Max's ears immediately perked up. His eyes locked onto the judge. And then, in a move no one expected, Max stood, took a breath, and barked. Once, twice, 3 times. Each bark sharp, clear, and deliberate. It wasn't random. It was intentional. A ripple ran through the room. The judge frowned, puzzled. "What was that?" he asked, leaning back slightly. Sarah gasped from her seat, covering her mouth. Then she spoke up, her voice shaking but clear. "It's a signal. Your Honor." The opposing lawyer rolled his eyes and scoffed loudly. "Your Honor, it's just a dog barking. Surely we're not taking this seriously?" But before he could continue, the judge lifted a hand to silence him, his gaze returning to Sarah. "Explain." Sarah took a deep breath, her words soft but full of meaning. "We taught Max to recognize when Lily feels scared, when she can't say it out loud. 3 barks means she feels unsafe." The courtroom fell into stunned silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Everyone was frozen, trying to process what they had just witnessed, a dog speaking a child's truth. The judge looked at Lily again, this time his stern eyes softened with real concern. "Lily's sweetheart, are you afraid?" he asked, his voice quieter now, almost like he was speaking to his own grandchild. Lily's eyes filled with tears. She didn't speak. She simply nodded, her little chin trembling. The judge's expression changed. He turned toward her father. "Step out of the courtroom." The man's face twisted in protest. "Your Honor." But he didn't get to finish. 2 bailiffs were already moving toward him, guiding him out of the room. As soon as the door closed behind him, Lily's entire body seemed to deflate, like she'd been holding her breath this whole time. Max leaned in, licking her hand softly, telling her without words, "You're safe now." The judge let out a slow breath, like the weight of the room had finally shifted. He leaned forward one more time. "Sweetheart, do you want to stay with Sarah and John?" For the first time since she'd entered that cold courtroom, Lily's voice came out. A small but firm yes. Tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks. John, her foster father, grabbed her hand tightly, the relief flooding both their faces. The judge smiled, a real, warm smile. "Then, that's exactly what we'll do." The courtroom stirred. Murmurs filled the space, some in shock, others in awe. People whispering about what had just happened. A little girl's voice had finally been heard, but it wasn't through her words. It was through the loyal bark of her best friend. As Sarah and John rushed forward to gather Lily in their arms, Max wagged his tail like he knew he'd done something extraordinary. His golden fur shimmered in the sunlight streaming through the tall windows. And in that light, a child's silent cry for help had finally been answered. Not by lawyers, not by papers, but by a dog's love.